Have you ever wondered what would happen if the entire global economy just stopped? Imagine banks failing overnight, your life savings vanishing, and millions of people suddenly losing their jobs. This isn't the plot of a disaster movie. This was the reality during the Great Depression of the 1930s. What caused this catastrophic collapse? And more importantly, what can we learn from it today to protect our own financial future? Stick around, because the lessons from this dark chapter of history are more relevant now than you might think. Let's rewind to the 1920s, the Roaring Twenties. It was a decade of unprecedented prosperity in America. The stock market was soaring. New technologies like the radio and automobile were changing lives. And there was a widespread belief that the good times would never end. People were borrowing money like never before to buy stocks, a practice known as buying on margin. It was a massive party, but like all wild parties, it was destined for a hangover. The music stopped on October 29, 1929, a day forever known as Black Tuesday. The stock market crashed. Panic swept the nation. Investors who had borrowed heavily were wiped out instantly. But this was just the beginning. The crash was a symptom, not the disease itself. The real problems ran much deeper. One major cause was a massive bubble in the stock market. Prices were driven by speculation, not by the actual value of the companies. When confidence wavered, the whole house of cards came tumbling down. Billions of dollars in wealth evaporated in a matter of hours. Then came the banking crisis. In the 1930s, when you put money in a bank, it wasn't insured by the government like it is today. When people heard the market had crashed, they rushed to the banks to withdraw their cash. This is called a bank run. The problem was, banks don't just keep all that cash in a vault, they lend it out. They couldn't meet the demand, and thousands of banks failed, taking their customers' life savings with them. The crisis wasn't just in the United States, it went global. America had been lending money to other countries, especially in Europe, to help them rebuild after World War I, when the US economy tanked. Those loans dried up. To make matters worse, governments around the world, including the US, enacted protectionist policies like the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. They raised taxes on imported goods, hoping to protect their own industries. But all it did was start a trade war, causing international trade to plummet and spreading the economic pain across the globe. So, what did this mean for ordinary people? The consequences were devastating. By 1933, unemployment in the United States reached a staggering 25%. 1 in every 4 workers was jobless. Industrial production was cut in half. People lost their homes, their farms, and their hope. Shantytowns, nicknamed Hoovervilles after the president at the time, sprung up across the country. Bread lines and soup kitchens became a common sight as families struggled just to find their next meal. The psychological toll was immense. The Depression shattered the American dream and left a deep scar on the generation that lived through it. It was a time of immense hardship and uncertainty. So, how did it end? The recovery was slow and complex. In 1933, President Franklin D. Roosevelt launched the New Deal. This was a series of programs, regulations, and public works projects designed to provide relief, recovery, and reform. It created agencies like the Civilian Conservation Corps, which put young men to work on environmental projects, and the Public Works Administration, which built dams, bridges, and schools. Crucially, the New Deal also introduced major financial reforms. The Glass-Steagall Act separated commercial and investment banking, and the FDIC was created to ensure bank deposits, restoring public trust in the banking system. These reforms laid the foundation for a more stable financial system. While historians still debate the New Deal's overall effectiveness, it undeniably provided a crucial safety net and a sense of hope for millions. Ultimately, it was the massive industrial mobilization for World War II that fully pulled the US and the world out of the Depression. Now, why should we care about this history lesson today? Because the Great Depression offers timeless lessons for our own financial lives and for understanding the economy. Lesson number 1. Diversification is key. The people who lost everything were often those who had all their money in one place, whether it was the stock market or a single bank. Spreading your investments across different asset stocks, bonds, real estate can protect you when one area takes a hit. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Lesson number 2. Beware of debt and speculation. The 1920s were fueled by people borrowing money to chase quick profits in the stock market. This is called using leverage, and it's a double-edged sword. It can magnify your gains, but it can also magnify your losses and wipe you out completely. Invest based on value, not on hype. Lesson number 3. Understand the role of government and central banks. The creation of the FDIC and other regulations shows how important a strong financial safety net is. Today, central banks like the Federal Reserve have tools to manage the economy and prevent a total collapse. But their actions have huge impacts on everything from interest rates to inflation. Staying informed about economic policy isn't just for economists. It affects your wallet. Lesson number 4. Always have an emergency fund. The Depression taught us that the unexpected can and does happen. Having 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in cash in a safe, accessible place provides a crucial buffer against job loss or a financial crisis. It's your personal safety net. The Great Depression was a period of immense suffering, but it also forced a fundamental rethinking of our economic systems. It led to safeguards that protect us to this day and taught a generation the value of caution, savings, and resilience. By understanding what went wrong, we can make smarter decisions for our own financial well-being and be better prepared for whatever economic storms may lie ahead. The past doesn't just repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this deep dive into the Great Depression has given you some valuable insights. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content on economic history and financial wisdom. Let me know in the comments what other historical events you'd like me to cover. Stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.